Hi everyone, this is Aman. You're watching me on techmyhire. Now we have Anubhav with us. Hi Anubhav.
Hey Aman.
Yeah, could you please introduce yourself?
Okay, so before I introduce myself, I would like to thank Aman as well as the Tech Hire team for inviting me here. And coming on to my introduction now. So, hey guys, I'm Anubhav Singh. Currently, I'm working as a Salesforce developer in Accenture. Lately, I hit 1 year of overall experience in Accenture. So, yeah, that's all about me regarding
Yeah, okay.
my experience with Accenture.
So what is the process of this recruitment? Like Accenture, what is the entire process?
Coming on to the Accenture recruitment journey process. So, first you have to get yourself registered with Accenture, when the openings are out. So, once you get yourself registered with them, there would be 4 rounds. Okay, 4 rounds would be subcategorized into aptitude, communication, coding, and one technical and HR round. So there
Okay.
are no interview rounds. There will be only one interview round conducted by only one person, technical and HR. So coming on to our first round, that's the aptitude round. So
Yeah.
aptitude round would be subdivided into numeric ability, English, coding, and one more section is there, numeric ability.
Okay.
So these would be four subsections wherein you'll get 50 questions, 50 minutes. And out
Okay.
of these 50 questions, 5 questions would be optional. Optional not for you. You have to do it, but those 5 question marks wouldn't be counted towards the final score. So these are the 4 rounds.
Okay. Then what about the second round? How it is communication round, right? Second round is, and what is the pattern of the round? Do you remember it?
Yeah, I do remember it. So in the communication round, first you clear this written exam. After
Okay.
clearing this written exam, you'll get the opportunity for the coding round. Once you clear that round, you'll again get a mail to go through the communication round. So communication round will run for 30 minutes. You have to
Okay.
give at home using your personal laptop, and question will be so, like, let's assume they are pronouncing something, you have to reiterate. So they'll
Okay.
check your communication proficiency. Now they are giving you some jumble words. Okay.
Okay.
So you have to rephrase a sentence out of it. And then they will swiftly read a paragraph. You have to recall it and say it
Okay.
again, whatever you are able to recall. And I will suggest one thing, when you are doing it, please do it in a calm room, as in very calm room. Okay.
Okay.
Because, like, if you do it, you are giving you half an hour to it. Okay. And if something goes wrong, they are not going to tell you then and there. Once you complete that round, they will say that, we are not able to collect your data. Like, whatever you tried saying, we
Yeah.
had some error because of some issues at your end. So try giving it in the very calm room. So this was the third stage of Accenture
Okay.
communication round.
Then what about
And it is
coding?
a
Like, yeah.
non-eliminatory round. Yeah,
Okay.
it is a non-eliminatory round, but yeah, try giving your best.
Then what about the coding round? How many questions were asked, and what is the area that is asked? Like it is on strings or data structures. What is the area they try to ask you?
Okay, so coming on to the coding round, that was the second round after clearing the aptitude, which was the first. So coding round was of 45 minutes. Out of those 45 minutes, you will get 2 questions. Okay. If you do either of the questions, you will get selected for the third round, that's the communication round, and
Okay.
like so on and so forth. You can progress to the final interview stage. So 2 questions, 45 minutes. One question would be simple, but yeah, that depends upon your coding skills as well, how much you practiced and what's your level. So this is about the coding now. So for me, one question was simple and the other question was of medium stage. Uh, Before I come on to question, in the interest of full disclaimer, I would like to add that I'm a 5-star hacker rank and 3-star code
Okay.
chef. So yeah, so depending upon your coding proficiency, for me the first was simple and the second was medium. I did the first question in 5 minutes. So rest 40
Yeah.
minute I got for the second question. So, like, I did that question in almost 20 to 25 minutes, but the
Okay.
issue was with their interpreter. Actually, you can use any programming language. Okay, Python, C, C Sharp, or Java. For me, yeah, there were four languages, so you can choose out of them. I use Python. So for me, their interpreter wasn't working, so I couldn't complete my second question. And I would like to add one more thing. Like, if you clear one question, you are gonna most probably get selected for AC. If you clear
Okay.
both of the question, you are gonna get selected for FSC.
Okay.
So these are the two profiles that Accenture offers. So try doing two questions, and at least if you want to get selected in Accenture, you should go for at least for one question with all
Okay.
test cases passed. Yeah.
Then what about your technical round and what are the questions that were asked? What are the areas that are tested in that?
Okay. So my interview round started with a bit of laughter. Like we greeted each other, and then my interviewer proceeded with my introduction. That's the most common thing. A person will speak about, will ask you about. With my introduction, as in my introduction itself, I told that I developed two of the project. One was my minor, and the second one was the major, as a part
Okay.
of final year project. So he was very interested in my project. So he asked a lot about my minor and major projects, specifically about my major project that I did. And after asking those questions, he wasn't satisfied. So even he cross-questioned me on
Okay.
my projects as well, which I wasn't expecting. So yeah, introduction. Then my interview went on to my project, and then he came up with a few of the coding question. Coding question, as in this is my fourth round, right? In
Yeah.
Accenture, that's the technical interview. And in the second round itself, I attended this coding questions,
Yeah.
two of the coding questions. So the first question he asked me like, what was your question? And once I told him, he asked me like, what was your approach? Okay. So I just gave him the approach. Then he asked me like, Anubhav, what's the time complexity of it? So this what he discussed, and then like follow up question he had like, what are the different types of time complexity that you went through. Okay. And space complexity spoke about, and
Okay.
specifically I would suggest that there were a lot many questions around OOP. So even if you don't prepare anything, just go for OOPS concept, because there were a lot
Okay.
many questions around OOPS concept, and few questions around list array, like what's the difference between list and array, linked list and array. And he made me write one of the SQL query as well.
Okay.
So it was based on joins, but need not to worry, it was the basic one. Like if you have the basic understanding around SQL, you'll just sail through. See, I will suggest that to brush up your OOPS concept at the first place. Okay, the first question that they will bombard upon you is upon OOPS, and the most important thing, the instrumental thing that can get selected in Accenture is that when you go through OOPS now, like try relating it with a real world thing. Okay,
Okay.
like real world example, as in when you are explaining, like you are explaining encapsulation. So just tell him like in the real world, okay, not just in the coding world, in the real world where
Yeah.
you are experiencing it, your polymorphism where you are experiencing it. So you should be able to tell them, and then excel your this introduction thing. Okay, do anything, just you mug up that introduction, mug up very hard the introduction thing, the oops things with examples, and these two things are there. Just brush up basic SQL queries. Okay, that
Okay.
can be asked in your interview. They won't be asking you, any heavy thing out there. So these two to three things just get through. And yeah, one of the most important thing is this, that please go through the projects as well. Like whatever
Okay.
project you develop now, just prepare yourself. Like when somebody asks you, let's assume, okay, explain me your project. So you
Yeah.
shouldn't be blank, you know. So just mug it up or go through it. Make yourself apprehend, okay, what you did in the project, but be ready with the project, because you
Okay.
can expect questions from these areas a lot many. Yeah.
Are there any HR related questions in this TR round? Since this is the only round, right? Are there any HR related questions?
Uh, introduce yourself. I believe it was the HR related question. Since I told like there is no difference between HR and technical round in Accenture, so they just amalgamate it and take it together. So what are your strengths? That's a common
Yeah.
HR question, and they do ask it. Okay, and what are your weaknesses? Okay, so one thing I would like to suggest is that when you are telling your weakness, just don't tell your weakness. Say them that okay, this is my weakness. Okay, and how you are working upon it. Okay,
Yeah.
so this thing, and while you're telling your strength, try to relate it with the company. That okay, you can, let's assume, work overnight, like,
Okay.
just assume. So how can it be beneficial for the company? Okay, just an example. But whenever you are telling your strength or the weaknesses, so how you are working upon it, and how it can be beneficial to the company at the end of the day. Because at the
Yeah.
end of the day, you're gonna work for the company, so you should be beneficial to them. That's it. So yeah, and by the time the interview ends, if interviewer asks you that, ask me a question or do you have any doubts, okay, I will strongly recommend that please ask something. Okay, be
Yeah.
ready with your question, and before asking, like, just keep one thing in mind. Don't ask that, would you like to give the feedback on my interview, or
Yeah.
uh, how did I perform, or when can I expect the results. The interviewer is not the person, a point
Yeah.
of contact to whom you would be confronting this question. Rather, you can ask this question that, uh, what are the expectations for this profile that I'm getting interviewed. Okay, so what are the kind of projects that, in my case, like for Accenture, what are the kind of project that Accenture is experiencing? Like on which tech stack? Like it's SAP,
Yeah.
Salesforce, Java. So, and what are the kind of opportunity when I'll get selected into the Accenture? What are the kind of opportunity that I'll get? Like Salesforce, I will get SAP, Java, Mon, or Mean. What I'll get? And these all questions you can ask, so it will leave a good impression on that person. So
Yeah.
try doing this thing, and even if the interviewer don't ask you to ask questions, please do ask, because sometimes it's not you who is getting interviewed by that person. He might have
Yeah.
taken many more interviews, and there would be a lot many interviews in his queue as well. So sometimes they do forget, but just to make an impression, just do ask
Okay.
that, yeah, I have a question, and you can even go on to the second question as well, but first one question is mandatory at end.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Since you're working for an year, what is your role at Accenture and what is your training experience and what is your job experience?
Okay, so once you get selected in Accenture, so they will onboard you in their company within 2 months, or maybe sometimes for some folks it was for 1 month. So before it, they will give you uh, their interface where you should be practicing something. Like for us, they gave us some Java tutorials that we were supposed to go through, and some database things as well. So we were required to school ourselves in Java and databases. Once we are done doing it, they had their own compiler and other things, wherein they were providing us with the questions that we were supposed to do, and we can track our daily progress on their chart that they gave on their UI. So you'll once you get selected in Accenture, you are gonna get some of the login credential for one of their sites. You have to study from there, and you have to attend the questions that are out there. Okay, that is the mandatory part of the journey before getting onboarded to Accenture. And after you are done doing all those things, let's assume in a month or in a couple of months, there will be an exam. That would be the final exam, and you'll get three attempts for it. So they will ask you for the question paper would be like this. There would be two coding questions and two database questions. So either attend two database question and one coding question, okay, or attend both of the coding question and leave the database question. So if you do either of these things, okay, you will get onboarded to Accenture in a month or maybe before it. That depends, what kind of work pressure they have at their end. But you
Yeah.
have to get through that exam to get onboarded. So I will suggest that interview is not the final stage. Okay, and try getting through it in the first round itself, as it will create the impact. As you know, if you get through it in the first round itself, you'll get a plethora amount of opportunity to choose from them. Let's assume you want to be a MERN stack developer, so they'll offer you the opportunity. Okay, but if you get selected in round two, then the opportunity will dwindle down. As in, the people who got selected in the first round, they already chose.
Yeah.
So whatever is left, that would be for you. And third round would be worse. So try getting selected in the first round itself. And they are not tough. You can write code in any language, I believe.
Okay.
So yeah.
So how is your
And one,
yeah, sure, carry
yeah.
on.
After doing these things, you'll get onboarded to Accenture. Once you get onboarded, so there will be an induction program, and you'll get the opportunity, as I told you, like there are a lot many tech stacks out there for engineers. So, which kind of engineer you want to be? Java engineer, Python engineer, Salesforce developer, or you want to be a tester?
Yeah.
Okay, so they will give you that thing. You have to choose. Okay, so once you choose it, if you get allocated in that thing or some other thing, your training will start. Like for me, I put my first choice as Salesforce, second choice Java, and like for me there were five choices. So I have to put them in order, like which thing you want the first.
Yeah.
So I put the Salesforce. I had some wisdom on it. So after sometimes there will be a 3 months training. You have to attend that 3 months training with and as you progress with your training, there will be four of the exams as well. That would be MCQ based, and 30 questions would be there, and you have to clear all four exams. Okay, like for me it was Salesforce. So while the training was in progress, I was getting the link to attend those exams as well
Okay.
in certain time periods. So I went through all the four exams, and they were based on the stream that it chose. Let's assume somebody chose Java, so he or she has to go through that Java thing as well. The training will be in progress, but you have to attend those exams as well in a specified timeline. After going to training, you will be tagged to some of the projects. Okay, but before it, you'll again will get interviewed for those projects, and if they
Yeah.
find you compatible as a fresher, they'll pull you in. And while in training, you can also get tagged into the project. Okay,
Okay.
so there is nothing like hard and fast rule. After training, you will get tagged to some of the project.
Okay. So how is your work environment right now? You are working for almost a year. So how is your work experience and environment at Accenture?
Okay, so far it has been cool, I would say. Sometimes, work pressure hikes, but you are really gonna enjoy this journey.
Yeah.
When there will be a work pressure, like there is a deadline. You have to address this deadline no
Yeah.
matter how. So you have to work for sometimes late night,
Yeah.
to address that thing. And some days would be free. You can, chill out, hang out with your friends. So yeah, it was kind of good for me.
Yeah.